One thing to look at, there's a sheet that I gave you that has like 2009, 2021. It has dates written across the top. There should be some on your table. There's 2 or 3 on every table. What I like to do with families is to have them look at this and kind of see where they're going to be and see what's going to happen in their lives. And I should change this because it really is how old we all are, but I'm actually a year older now. That's how sad this is. But it's nice to look at where you are and kind of figure out what are my children going to need? Am I going to have a child? Like for Kate, we're going to be taking care of her our whole lives. And some of you may be in the same situation, some of you won't. But you've got to think about where you're going to be. So where are you now and what age will your kids be at different events? So in 2021, when Kate is 18, she can qualify for SSI and will get a guardianship. But how old are my other kids and what's going to be happening financially to us? When she gets out of school at 22, what's going to be happening? Where are we? Let's say my husband retires at 67. Again, how old are the kids and where will they be? One thing to keep in mind, when either of you retire or you become disabled, your child can then qualify for Social Security disability income, SSDI instead of SSI, and it's a much easier plan to work with and you get a much higher benefit. And you usually can qualify for Medicare insurance, which some people say is a better insurance plan for your kids. So you should just kind of have a timeline and get things in your head about when you should be worrying about different things and when to take care of it. So the interesting part then is you get to where, gosh, 2042, that sounds hideous. So let's say my husband dies at 80, and then what do we have to live on? So I'm here, Kate is here with me, what are we going to live on? If we only had life insurance on my life, or let's say some of us get it with work and some don't. Some of you have both life insurance, some of you don't. So if I have life insurance on my life, and I have Kate and my husband has died, what are we going to live on? You know, there's a time right then that you've got to figure it out. Sometimes you think about, okay, when we're both dead, then what? But there's going to be a gap of time where you've got to support yourself and your child with a disability. So a lot of times it's a good thing to have 2 insurance on both parties if you're married to try to take care of that problem. Some people can't afford it, but you should have something. And usually when you fund a special needs trust, most people don't have millions of dollars sitting around to dump into this trust. And so life insurance is the way that most people fund a special needs trust. And so you need to look at your options at work. And the other thing to think about, besides making sure both of you have some insurance, is most insurances that you get through your work, they are called term life insurance. And so, you start working at 28 and you take out a 30-year term life insurance, 20, 30, 40, 58, 68 is when you start terming, and then you don't have any insurance. And then what do you do? How are you going to fund this special needs trust if you've termed out at 68 and you're still alive, and then you've got no money left to put into this trust? So what we did is we paid more and we got a whole life insurance, which covers us until we're 96. It's more expensive, but it's a lot cheaper than putting, $1,000 a month into the special needs trust to try to make sure that Kate's taken care of. So I know when you talk to investment people, they'll say, that whole life isn't a great investment, but when you've got to cover 2 generations, there aren't a lot of other options unless you're very wealthy. Another thing to think about is you should have kind of a hard conversation with your families, your parents, grandparents, and just say, if it ever crossed your mind that you were going to leave money to my child with a disability, here's the way to do it. Because they can secretly do this, and it's a great thing, but then they are going to disqualify your child from benefits, and they are stuck with these horrible options of either spending all the money in a month so they don't lose all their benefits, or trying to hire an attorney to figure out some way to finagle to keep some of this money. Whereas if it had just funneled into this special needs trust, then you could spend $1,000 a month for months and months and months and make their life so much better. Because I don't know how many of you have looked at what Social Security covers and what Medicaid covers, But there's a lot of things that aren't covered, like dental insurance is often one that you don't get. How are they going to go get their hair cut? Are they going to get decent clothes? Are they ever going to get to go on a vacation with their siblings? Who's going to pay for all of that? I mean, the benefits that you get under the government plans are not like a Cadillac plan. And you may want some things for your children that are a little bit better than that. And so this trust is a great way to supplement every month to have things happening for them that you as a parent would want to make sure that those things are happening. One other great thing that that you should consider, and I don't know Spina Bifida as well as I know like Prader-Willi syndrome, but there are a lot of interesting things that you need to know. So let's say my sister is the guardian of my children, will be, and will take our children if my husband and I die. So let's say, we're going somewhere this weekend and we get in a car accident or killed. So she comes, and what is she going to do with Kate? What does she know really? She knows she has the syndrome. She comes to the walks that we do. She helps. I mean, she's a great sister. But she doesn't know who her doctors are. She doesn't know how often we go to appointments. She doesn't know the 35 medications that we take and the shots we do every night and the back brace that we put on every night and all of this stuff that we do. She doesn't know that if you sing this song, then she'll let you wash your hair. And if you don't wash your hair. And you can go a month, but you've got to know. And so there's a document that also, if you will email me, which my email is on there, I have a template for a letter of intent is what it's called. And it's just this document that sets out a lot of stuff, like the doctors they go to, the specific things about your child, how you take care of them, what are the things that make your life easy, that you've spent 5 and 10 and 15 and 20 years learning about your child. You don't want this person to start at ground zero. You want to be able to have them at least start with what you've written down and what you know. Because you are the most important person in your child's life, and you know what it takes to make their life what you want it to be. And it's also a nice place to write a few things about what your priorities are for your child and what you think is important. I mean, do you care that they go to church? Do you care that they spend time with family? Do you care that they get to go to musical events, or that they get to go to this dance class, or that it's a nice place to just say, this is what we hope for our child. And so some of those wishes would hopefully be fulfilled in the person that you've selected and talked to in advance, hopefully, that they would be the guardian of your child. And I think I am just about out of time, but I just want to just say how interesting it's been for us as a family to have a child with special needs. It's certainly, never a club that you would sign your name up and say, please choose me. And we don't get to do it that way. I mean, we all just kind of get thrust into it and all of that. But it's been just a wonderful journey for our family, watching our other children, how they handle our daughter and how they now volunteer for everything they can to help people with special needs. And just the growth that's come to our family because of our daughter and how wonderful she is and what a great blessing she is in our family. And I hope that you view it that way, and I hope that when you are in a good, stable position that you are reaching out to help other people, because that's what really has helped our family. I mean, there are times we've just been thrown to the ground and didn't think we could carry on, and people have come and helped us and picked us up. So hopefully, as you're looking around in this world, that you, if you are in a stable position, that you will reach out a hand to people. So again, just in the last thought, if you want to email me, I can send you different things that will make this easier to get started and at least get some of the basic things finished. And then as you progress and figure things out more, you could, step up in your planning and figure out things. But at least get a will for you guys figured out and a special needs trust set up for your child to get the protection that you need. Thank you.